What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Alright, so when news of this new Harry Potter spinoff or new series arrived, both Lance and I, my co-host here on Rants, we were both really excited. You know, as Harry Potter fans, I think a lot of us had the same idea that many other fans had. Anything new about Harry Potter we wanted. We definitely wanted to explore more of the world of the Harry Potter that we grew up on as kids. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe, you know, of course those books are just classics. I mean, you just can't go wrong with it. Like, I know me personally, I cannot wait until I can introduce those books to my children. Those were just, I mean, they're just perfectly written. Like, J.K. Rowling did a fabulous job on them. I felt like the movies were great. I mean, they weren't as good to me as the books, but they were still really, really good movies, and I really enjoyed them. You know, I'll go back and watch them from time to time. But overall, you know, I read and I reread the books, and, you know, I wanted a new story that come with the cast and characters that we we grew up on. But like I said, when news of this first broke, both Lance and I were really excited about this coming out. But as the days go on, and the more I read articles about how does Harry Potter separate itself from J.K. Rowling, and the more I'm like, ooh, I don't want this to be a show mired in controversy. It's not that I'm a J.K. Rowling supporter. It's not anything along those lines. It really doesn't have anything to do with J.K. Rowling to me. It has more to do with, I don't know if I want it to be a lightning rod for controversy. And I just kind of feel like it's setting itself up for that. And when the original cast, or some of the original cast, said that they were open to maybe revisiting their characters in, you know, the world of Harry Potter, even Rupert Grint had even said in the past that, you know, he would be open to playing, Ron again. But now it seems like things have changed a little bit, and I'm kind of curious as to the reasons why. Especially that they haven't even come up with an actual story or what they're wanting to do. But this Screen Rant article, Harry Potter's Rupert Grint responds to potential TV show spinoff, is actually a really telling and interesting story about how Rupert Grint seems like he's changed his mind a little bit about maybe getting involved in this situation. It says, but little is known about the plot of the live-action spinoff, which is reportedly in early development at HBO Max. Sources claim that studio executives have met with potential writers and explored various story ideas in the hopes of bringing the Wizarding World to television. Thus far, however, no writers or talent are attached to the project. And unfortunately for die-hard Potterheads, Grint told Variety he doesn't expect to be involved in the HBO Max spinoff series. The actor said he thinks a continuation of the original Harry Potter franchise would be weird, and admitted he is very protective of his fan-favorite character Ron Weasley. According to Grint, it would be interesting for the show to follow an entirely different group of friends as they learn to navigate magic at Hogwarts. His full quote here is, "It'll be weird if it was a continuation kind of thing. I weirdly feel quite protective of the character. Even when I saw the stage shows, it was a very strange experience. If it's like a different group of friends, I guess it would be interesting." Alright, it's kind of interesting that he brought up the cursed child, because is that what's scaring him off? Is maybe the idea that there might be a curse-like spinoff, or the cursed child-like spinoff? Is that what maybe he's fearful of, and is just, you know, saying from the very beginning, "Hey, I'm not up to this. I don't want no part of this." That alone by itself, if they even tried something like that, I think it would just be. You talk about controversy with J.K. Rowling. You would have, Harry Potter fans just coming out of the woodworks, pissed about that being the spinoff, or anything that's even remotely like it. Now, I'd have been on the record that I said you could take maybe pieces of that and maybe make a story around it that was completely different, that didn't involve time turners or Cedric Diggory or any of those different aspects that really, really brought down the cursed child. But, you could still add aspects of it and make it maybe a potential show that, fans would be kind of interested in. But for Rupert Grint to just kind of come out at the very beginning and just say he doesn't know, he hasn't, of course, he hadn't been contacted. He don't think he's going to be a part of it. And then he goes on to, specifically state he kind of thinks that they really shouldn't do anything with his character or Harry Potter or, any of Hermione or any of those main cast of the original movies. That is disappointing, but to me, kind of feels like there's something going on behind the scenes that he's worried about ruining the character. He's either not comfortable with the showrunners or maybe the possible writers that they're maybe wanting to bring aboard, or something along those lines that maybe is behind the scenes that he's just not comfortable with. And I guess and you know what, I understand what he's going. Too many times we've seen characters being brought, iconic characters. I mean, Luke Skywalker is, the first one that comes to mind. But there's been others where you bring these characters back and they just don't have the same feel to them. Like, they just don't, years later. They don't have that original magic. I don't personally believe that you could bring back Rupert Grint or Daniel Radcliffe or any of those characters by themselves without the whole bunch of them. I just feel like you either get Hermione, Ron, and Harry, or you get none of them. And if they tried to do anything in between that, I know I personally would not be in favor of it. But this article actually goes and really kind of has some cool ideas about what would actually be kind of some things that are a possibility of potential spin-offs that could happen. It says, in all likelihood, most Harry Potter fans are at least as protective, if not protective, of the iconic redhead and of all the other characters from the film franchise. It would be a dangerous move for HBO Max to tamper with any original characters or the original story, especially if central cast members don't plan to reprise their roles in the show. However, the people behind the potential spin-off series knew this. They will likely pursue different story ideas that are far removed from the original franchise, but still manage to capture the same magic that made the Harry Potter such a classic. The series could tell the Marauder story or the original Order of the Phoenix, both of which would expand the Wizarding world without tinkering with the original films. I think the Marauder story would actually be kind of an interesting story. It's not the one that I personally would choose, but it could be a fun story. We could learn a little bit more about Harry Potter's father and of course Lupin and all them and Sirius Black. We could learn a little bit more about them, but I kind of feel like that's not the one that I personally would want, simply because we've got a lot of backstory over them. So unless they did something that was kind of completely different to that, or maybe made it where that the backstory that we learned about was maybe from a point of view that really didn't tell the full story of what was going on, other than that, I don't think that personally would be something. Now, if you wanted to go and you wanted to tell about the original Order of the Phoenix, that I think would be a really great show. That would be one that I would actually get behind because we could learn a little bit of about of course the creation of the Order of the Phoenix, Neville Longbottom's parents, show exactly what transpired. It could really tell about why Harry Potter's mom and dad were really notable wizards, because we kind of got, well, they were in some battles, but we didn't really get any specifics about it. So I would actually kind of really enjoy to see that, even though at the end of the day, it's one of those stories that we kind of know how it ends, and it will tragically end. So, I mean, that would be the only thing that'd be like, I don't know about that. But I would be open to that. I hope that might be the way it goes. That would be one that I could see how it would attract Harry Potter fans from, from the original movies and of course the books, and bring those fans to that, something that they could get behind, because it's enough of a familiar story that they would feel comfortable with. It wouldn't just be something that was just completely out of the blue. I also would be, in favor, of course, of, the history of Hogwarts, telling about maybe the founders or something. But, that's for a different video when it comes to that. We've kind of traced that in a few of our videos, if y'all have seen any of those. So, that would be some of my ideas for it. But I really think, if they're not going to do the original cast of it, they're not going to do all of them. They need to do none of them. And if they're going to do this and probably go under the largest attention and probably the less controversial, maybe do something about the creation of the Order of the Phoenix, and, kind of tell about, Harry Potter's, parents and Neville Longbottom's parents. And maybe we could learn a little bit of backstory about Dumbledore as well. Because there's, as much as we think we know about Dumbledore, there's always that sense of, I know I at least got that from the books, that, we never knew if some of the darker sides or the darker rumors of him was actually true or not. Of course, we're going to learn a lot about that in the Fantastic Beasts movie. But, I would like to see maybe the older version of Dumbledore, and maybe, hey, even seeing, maybe, I know it probably wouldn't be Kanan, but maybe seeing, a Dumbledore face off against Voldemort. Something along those lines, which I don't see how they could do an Order of the Phoenix series without having something similar to that. So I would be in favor of that. I know it would probably not go with the books very well, but it's not like Fantastic Beasts is exactly going by the books either. So it's like they just threw all that timeline and all that canon just completely out the window. So I know that's been a gripe with fans, but it's not going to keep fans from watching the next movie. So I don't think it's that much of a gripe with fans. If they make it interesting and they maybe take it in a direction that we could at least get behind. Now, if it's something boring something boring that fans don't get behind, then they're not going to ever be cool with you changing timelines or changing things up, changing Kanan up in any way. But like I said, if you make it interesting, you might could change a lot of minds. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if this Rupert Grint comment actually has changed y'all's mind or excitement about the this upcoming Harry Potter series. Is it maybe a red flag? Is it warnings that maybe we should be weary of what we ask for? Because to me, I'm like getting some red flags with Rupert Grint's comments, because Rupert Grint has been on record saying that he would like to go back to the Harry Potter world at some time or another. But then him throwing shade on the cursed child kind of makes me think, okay, there's more going on than what we know. You know, maybe they're just, they're all what in their 30s. They're maybe just don't want to revisit those days anymore. I don't know. They want to move on from being typecast as Ron and Harry and Hermione. I mean, that could very well be the case as well. But guys, let me know what y'all think, and as always, thanks for watching, and y'all take care.